What he wants to do is give us an update on what almost like the new normal here in Baldwinsville is, what the government's doing, what the community's doing. Just he has a lot of information to share. So I appreciate the fact, Bob, that you came here. Well, you stayed in your office because of social distancing, and I stayed here, but that you can share that information with us. Can you tell us kind of what's going on?
Yeah, sure. And thanks for doing this for everybody, Shelley. Well, as of Sunday, 100% of the workforce has to stay home. And what does that mean? You have to stay home because the government wants you to stay away from each other, because if we can smother this virus, that's what's going to take care of it. So I shut down the Lysander offices last Tuesday because I didn't want to expose our employees to it, but they're still working. Now, staying away from each other doesn't mean playing basketball on a basketball court. I got a call from one of the local residents that there were a group of kids over there playing basketball, so we had to shut that down. But the park's open. We want you to get out and utilize the park and go walking. But if we see groups there, we're gonna scatter it away. I want to keep it open, but if we see people congregating too much, we're gonna have to close the park down. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Well,
Government is open.
Too, real quick, Bob, is the schools actually sent out a memo because the kids were going to play football on the turf and things like that. So it's not just a park issue. The school actually ended up sending parents that message as well. So I'm glad you guys are shutting it down at the parks.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt, but
that's an important point. You want to stay away from each other. So other than family members, in order to take care of this virus. That's why we're doing what we're doing as a government. Now, the government's still open. Your government is still open. Offices are closed to the public, but you can do most things online. Our assessor, now that this is grievance period, she's open for business. Now, we share Teresa Golden with the town of Van Buren, and she's scheduling phone appointments. That number is 315-638-0839. And you can call, leave a message. You don't need to leave 5 messages. She will get back to you. And she gets back to people in the order that they called. But she will be handling those, any issues that you have about your assessments over the phone. You can check the Lysander's website. All our department numbers are on there. And all the department heads are working, only they're working remotely. Now, the highway department is out there. I'm in the office every day. My direct number during office hours is 315-857-0281. And if you don't get an answer, you can leave it on the message. And most of those messages will go to my cell phone. So I'll get back to you. If it's important, believe me, I will get back to you. Now, some people had questions about Department of Motor Vehicles. What about if my license expires? What about if my plates or registration expire? The governor sent out a executive order, and it's if you want to look at it, it's 202.8, and he's extending all of those things. So don't worry about your licenses or your registrations. They're extended. I think it's out 90 days, but you'll have plenty of time to renew them. We have a local residents, Pam Mylock, that's organized a group called Baldwinsville Helping Baldwinsville COVID-19. And what she's doing is she has a group of volunteers that are going out to help people. If you're somebody that's shut in, a senior that needs somebody to go to the grocery store or pick up some of your prescriptions at the drugstore, you can get a hold of this group and they will provide a volunteer to help you facilitate that. Now, what we've done is we've partnered with Pam. The town of Lysander's partnered with them. So we're going to be providing the phone bank for her. So the phone will come into our number, which is 315-857-0292. Then it'll be redirected to a volunteer that'll be handling the calls. Now, once they get those calls, they'll send somebody out to you. But remember, this is a hastily put together organization. They don't have a budget. So you're going to have to work out, how you're going to take care of the payment with whomever comes to your house. We're going to have that open tomorrow, Wednesday. We're going to start, and the hours are going to be from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And you'll be able to call that number and get somebody to help you out.
Can I interrupt for 1 second, Bob? I'm sorry. Is there requirements or a specific type of help that group is helping with, just to kind of, or is it still being worked out exactly what they're going to be helping? Is it groceries?
Well, I think that if you call that number, they will try and help you out any way that you can. And if you can't get help through them, if you call the town offices or call my office, we'll try and facilitate anything you need. But they're gonna try and if you need help with something like I said, going to the grocery store or something like that, that's what they're trying to do. Now, all of those people, all of those volunteers are being vetted. Pam sent me a list of names of everybody that's volunteering, and then I'm going to forward it on to the Baldwinsville Police Department. I spoke with the chief, and he's going to run all of those people that are volunteering through through his database. And anybody that even we have any questions about isn't going to be able to volunteer with this group. Now, in saying that, if someone comes to if someone calls you saying, "Hey, we're with Baldwinsville helping Baldwinsville," that's not how it works. You have to call them. So if someone calls you, don't give them any information. Don't have them come to your house.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to safety, don't answer your door to anyone. If you don't know who it is at the door, don't answer it, because there's a lot of scammers out there, and these scammers during these times, they really target seniors. I mean, I don't know where they get the information from, but they know where to go. So if you're somebody who's living alone or you're a senior and you get a call from some of these people, do not answer the phone. Do not give them money. Do not give them your credit cards. And if you have any questions at all, call the Baldwinsville Police Department, call the Sheriff's Department, call 911. Do not let them in. And speaking of that, if you have a true emergency, call 911. Don't wait, because it might take them a little time to get to your call. So you want to call as soon as you can to get the people there that you need.
Right.
If you make sure, if you're living alone, make sure you talk to family members every day. And if you know somebody that may live alone, then you know they don't have family members around, try to take them under your wing and take somebody and be responsible for them to make sure that you give them a call daily. You don't want someone to be home alone, because this is scary times for a lot of people, especially people that are living alone and they're maybe an older person. That isolation is not good for anybody. I went outside my house. I live on Genesee Street in a village, and it was like some sort of apocalypse happened. There was nobody on the road, and I'll tell you, it's an eerie thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can go to the Upstate Hospital, upstate.edu, and you can get the current information on this COVID coronavirus. They have everything there. There's also a Department of Health hotline, and that's 888-364-3065. If you have other questions or you think that you might need to be tested. If you think you might need to be tested, the first thing you need to do is you have to call your doctor. Once you call your doctor will direct you to wherever you need to go. If you don't have your own physician, you can call the Department of Health hotline. If you need other services, you can go to ongov.net, ongov.net. At the top of the page, there'll be you'll see a search button, and it'll say about. You hit that about, it'll drop down, and you just click on it. At the bottom, there'll be a search button. You hit on the search, and then you could just type in whatever you're looking for. Like I typed in seniors. When I typed in seniors, it came up all kinds of stuff: Department of Aging, senior health, housing, money. So you don't need to really have specifics. If you're looking for help, just hit that search button. If you want the Sheriff's Department numbers, you hit Sheriff, and the Sheriff's number pops up. So those are all good areas that you can look to find information.
Well, and if I'm hearing you correctly, for the most part, Bob, the numbers that we've always called, somebody's still going to answer that call, right? If we need somebody from the town, you call the number that's on the website. Even if you leave a message, someone's going to get back to you.
Somebody will get back to you. I mean, if it's a non-emergency, it might take a while because we're trying to handle the emergency situations first. But I take calls every day. I come in, I check my messages, and I get back to people, even if it's to say, we can't take care of that right now. Like if you're looking for a fishing license, you're probably out of luck. We're probably not going to help you with that. But I got a call from a lady the other day. Her husband passed away. She needed a marriage license, so we're working on that. I'm gonna try and work on that today. Talk to the clerk if we can, and we'll if she lives on Smoky Hollow Road, I might drop that off to her, or we'll mail it if she doesn't need it right away. So we're going to try and help you as much as we can, and so will the rest of our county departments. But we are better off than the rest of the state, even though our state is the worst in the country as far as this outbreak. Upstate New York and the town of Lysander is pretty good. Our county executive, our governor, they're both doing a great job, in my opinion. And I think that if people stay in and listen to what they're saying, stay away from each other, we'll be okay. But, you know, your services are still working in the town, and we're, like I said, we're much better off than the rest of the state.
I had made a comment to you when we were just talking right before we started streaming, as far as I'm so focused in on Baldwinsville and the community and what the community needs. And I hadn't really thought about like Syracuse or Manlius or other places, but really you kind of hit it home. Like, we need to focus in, like, those things matter. They obviously matter, but it's nice. It seems like Baldwinsville, Van Buren, the village, the town of Lysander, everybody's kind of taking care of our community, right?
The county has services, but in something like this, the county has a lot of towns to take care of. So it comes to the towns and the villages to take care of themselves. We have to handle as much as we can on our own without having to rely on the county, because their services are limited as well. So town of Van Buren, the village of Baldwinsville, and the town of Lysander, we are all working together because we're a small metropolitan group. That's 36,000 people that we can help. And with the when I forgot to mention that Baldwinsville helping Baldwinsville. If you're in the Baldwinsville School District, because most people don't understand geographic boundaries. If you're in the Baldwinsville School District, if you live in Seneca Knolls, if you live in Plainville, you live out in West Phoenix, the village, those are all areas that would be covered by Baldwinsville helping Baldwinsville. They're probably not going to go to Pompey. You're probably not going to see them in the city of Syracuse, but if you're in the Baldwinsville School District, they will help you out, because we have to help out ourselves as much as we can.
No, and like you said, Pam has gotten a great response from that group as far as people that are wanting to help, and that's going to be a huge resource that we have. And I know you're kind of guiding that, because it was put together really fast, because obviously it needed to be, but you have experience that you can lend to something like that just in your personal history, your career history. So I think it's all going to come together really well, and hopefully by the end of the week, there's a good flow to how that group is going to work and help us.
Well, it's people like you, people like Pam, and people like the volunteers that really we rely on, government relies on. But this community, I mean, people should be proud of what they have in their community. This community has really stepped up. I mean, I've worked in public service for 40 years, most of my life. And I can tell you that we are doing much, much better than many communities. I mean, I really am impressed with the way things are going. And normally you have to put out, ask for help. But here, people are coming to the government and saying, hey, we want to help. What can we do? That's just an enormous help to government and to the community. And, I think everybody should be proud of what they have here. That's why it's a great place to live.
It is. And it's nice to hear, because I think, the people that do things are just doing it. They're not even giving it an extra thought. So to know that maybe, once again, in my heart, Baldwinsville is a special place. It's just, more proof that I completely love where I live, and I'm glad I'm raising my kids here. But is there anything else, Bob, that you think is important, today to kind of share out to the community, to throw out there, either information wise or just support wise, before we depart ways here?
And just remember, I think it's important to remember that if you need help and it's emergency, call 911. Look out for those scammers, because they're out there, and they'll prey on people in this time. So if you don't know who you're talking to, make a phone call. Make a phone call to the police department. Make a phone call to the sheriff's department. Call the town that you live in. Give my office a call, and we'll make sure that we vet those people for you.
Okay, and that's a good reminder. So, well, thank you very much. Hopefully we can go back to normal sooner than later, but it's good to have this information, and I'd love to touch base with you again next week, to see if there's anything else that we can do if need be. So, we can set up another call if people have questions. Please send your questions into us. Call the office. whatever we can do to help, because Bob's here to help us as well. So thank you for talking with me today.
No, thanks a lot again.
All right, bye.